Hello, this is Pamela, the Divorce Mystic. I'm an over 25-year intuitive divorce attorney, mediator, and coach who's integrated a spiritual practice into my business. And today we're moving on with the Chakra and Divorce Series, specifically dealing with part 3, dealing with the solar plexus. Our solar plexus chakra is located between our navel and our sacral chakra, associated with the color yellow and the element of fire. The solar plexus are known as the second emotional center. It's where our gut instinct or our intuition is formed and housed. It's where we take in emotions and information, and where we digest them. It's where we transmit from emotion and information that we transmit out goes through that center. It helps to form our self-identity and our confidence and our willpower. So a healthy solar plexus, we feel good, we're self-confident, we feel good about our choices, and our emotions are a roadmap to dictate whether or not we are following our soul's journey. Are we on the path or are we not? Are we following our higher self in terms of guiding us on that soul's journey, that path, or are we veering off? Are we feeling off? Are we unable to trust our instincts? Is what we're feeling truly our instinct or our intuition, or is it overlapped with the fear coming from our ego? When we have a very balanced solar plexus, we are certain of our choices. We're certain of our actions. Go right or left, we don't question it. We don't have doubt. Our self-esteem is high. We feel a sense of health. We exude radiance and warmth, and we accept others. We have a lack of judgment of others. When we see somebody doing something that we wouldn't normally do, or we don't necessarily like, we don't have judgment about it. We're so confident within our own skin that what somebody else is doing doesn't really inhibit or ruin our day. We feel a sense of immortality. We know who we truly are. We know that we are just spirits in these bodies and enjoying the vehicle, enjoying the ride. We're having our life journey. We're learning our lessons. We're floating through. We're experiencing as much as we can experience. We know some of it was planned, and we know some of it is just along for the fun. And we feel good about that. There's no question. We don't doubt. When we are imbalanced, when our solar plexus are imbalanced, that's when we start feeling a sense of frustration. Nothing seems to make us happy. We might even extend that to anger. So what starts out as a little unhappiness and then a little frustration, if we don't deal with it, becomes anger, right? So carrying that anger makes us doubt our decisions, doubt others' intentions. It makes us doubt our own intentions. When we go right, we think, should we have gone left? And we dwell in that doubt and second guess, third guess, fourth guess ourselves and our decisions. We have a need to be in control. It's not just because we like something tidy or a certain way, or we have a need or an obsession over control. When we have a imbalanced solar plexus, we do feel the need to be in control. We have to set things up. We exert control. In so doing, we are, even though we're not noticing that we're doing it, there's judgment that comes along with that. Because if we need to be in control, that means that the way somebody else is doing something must be wrong. We're right, they're wrong. So the other thing that happens to us is we have an inability to make decisions. So we know that we know that every day we make decisions, whatever it may be. What time we get out? Are we going to have this? What are we going to eat? Where are we going to go? What time? There's little decisions, and there's larger life decisions. But we make many decisions on a daily basis. When we have an imbalanced solar plexus chakra, we have an inability to make decisions. We feel lost. We procrastinate. I'll do that tomorrow. It's okay. I'll just do it tomorrow. Tomorrow's another day, right? Just think of, who to think of when I say tomorrow's another day. So when you know, you know. So in a divorce, why is it important to have a balanced solar plexus chakra? One of the things that you're going to do in a divorce process is you're going to make decisions. You're going to have to make decisions. And it's very important to make those decisions from a place of clarity. So you must be aligned, and to be aligned, to be able to use your intuition correctly, to be able to tune in to your higher self, your guides, whatever your routine is to make those really clear decisions, that chakra needs to be balanced, as do the rest of them. So you might feel a sense of complete helplessness. Clients who have had imbalanced solar plexus, they feel helpless. They feel that they can't do anything right. They've lost their purpose. So what's the point of doing this? I don't have anything to live for or to look forward to. It's a complete, almost not a clinical depression. I'm not taking it to that level, but they feel depressed. They feel hopeless. They feel like they can't make a decision. They have a sense of, they start being irresponsible. So if certain things or deadlines must be met, or we've made commitments to the other side, as an example, whatever it may be. And sometimes I'm representing people with an attorney hat. Sometimes it's a mediation, and sometimes it's a coach or mentor. The point is that seeing people with different personalities, different age groups, male, females, they all have the same reactions when it's clear that they're out of alignment energetically. They all have the same type of reactions. And after so many of these that I've experienced in my 25 years, or even over 25 years, you get familiar with the signs. You see people making drastic decisions, becoming truly hyper-focused on something so they cannot see the larger picture. And I'll give you an example of one that if you have children and you know that you're divorcing, you're separating, you're going to divorce, so you know that one house that you have right now is going to become two. There is a difference between having fear associated with that and becoming hyper-focused on, I must have the house. I must have the house. That's a position. And being very fearful if that house is taken away, whether it's sold or what may happen to it, it becomes the only thing that someone focuses on. And they're unable to see that if one of the options were considered, I'll give you a good one, that house might sell and there's enough equity in there to provide two homes for the children who have to go back and forth in a co-parenting relationship. There's many examples where somebody gets very, very hyper-focused. And sometimes it's on something very simple as a kitchen utensil or a microwave, as an example. Many times we've offered to buy microwaves for clients, whether we represent the side that's the one who's hyper-focused or not, because they don't see that they're doing it. Their conscious mind is not aware of what's going on with them energetically. So another thing is becoming so fearful that it is so fearful that nothing that you say, nothing that you do can bring that person back into, you're going to be okay, the belief that they're going to be okay, that they can get to the other side. Their intuition is completely gone. They don't trust anything that you say, and they certainly don't trust anything that they say because they're not connected. So they have an inability to know what's good for them, what's good for the family. Remember, a family is a family. Even when the bonds of matrimony are gone, that family is just a redefined family. It just looks different. They don't have a sense of what's right for them, what's right for their spouse, what's right for the family in general, what's right for them going forward, what's right for their children. And going back to that hyper-focus, if you're hyper-focused on something, whether it's something related to your children, something related to an asset, something related to your own sense of well-being and support, there's an inability to be flexible and creative, and other chakra centers are also working with you. But specifically, we're dealing with the solar plexus right now. So what does that create? It creates a low self-esteem. It creates an inability to have no confidence in what you hear or what you think. Each option becomes, there's a problem and it's negative. There's never anything positive because you're shadowed by the ego and the fear coming from the ego that you can't get to your highest good to be able to say, is this a good decision for me? Am I making the right decision? Am I clear on this? There is no clarity. It's just a fog of fear. And sometimes we do call it the black cloud. We already know that someone going through a divorce is akin to a dark night of the soul. Even if they're the one who wants the divorce, there's parts of that process, even if they're excited about it, which I heard rarely there's anyone excited about a divorce. There are times when there is abusive situations and other causes that would make somebody excited to leave to avoid or prevent themselves from being hurt or their children being hurt. Here, we're just focused on the normal divorce process. People aren't excited about it, but they are able to see their future. They're able to visualize their future and have a discussion about what they may want in their future, which is a prerequisite to determining what a settlement agreement would look like for your family, right? So if someone cannot see the future, does not trust their instincts, becomes hyper-focused on each little issue, you don't trust what people are saying, you're very fearful, there's no way that you're going to be able to design a settlement agreement that's going to be unique and enduring and one that fulfills the needs of your particular family. There are a lot of things that go into a settlement agreement, but the most important thing that goes into that settlement agreement is your thought, your heart, and your ability to visualize actually walking the walk of what you've agreed to, whether it's in terms of a parenting plan, whether it's in terms of asset division, support or receiving of support, whatever it is. Those things have to be considered in real life scenarios. And that's why I make a point of making it very, very clear that if parties go to litigation, even if they settle outside of court, before court happens, those settlement agreements are never enduring, they're never lasting, they are second-guessed, and buyer's remorse is high, and parenting plans usually fall apart. They're not learning a communication style while they're together in the process because it's such an adversarial process. There's no way of making space or room to learn how to communicate differently so that you can develop a co-parenting relationship based on trust and understanding and, as I say, humanity in terms of that is the parent of your children. So if you're going to have to work together with them, why not make it a positive experience rather than years of turmoil, even after the children reach the age of majority, if there's no lessons learned in terms of how to communicate together and be positive in terms and united in terms of how children are raised going forward, it never changes. So when I've seen somebody at their worst in terms of their inability to balance their solar plexus, they have such a sense of feeling unworthy, not just unhealthy in general, but just unworthy. So as the professionals, we almost have a sense of responsibility in terms of don't let this person sign this agreement. Whatever you do, don't let them agree to this or that because they don't see that what they're doing is out of integrity, meaning it's not in their best interest, not necessarily that they're doing anything wrong. They don't see that it could hurt them long term. And sometimes it's to a point where they make such concessions to their spouse because, again, they're not connected. They're not able to make clear decisions. So in their fog and in their helplessness and feeling of unworthiness, right? Remember, if we're strong in our solar plexus, we feel a sense of confidence. We have a great, our self-identity is good. And we have willpower and we feel good. when we're just the opposite and we're dealing in something as a life transition, as traumatizing as divorce can be, and you're imbalanced, some of these people make decisions simply because if I do this the way he or she is asking me to do it and accept whatever they're asking me to do or to agree to, they may just see that I love them and they're making a bad mistake and they'll come back and this will all go away. That is a very real risk for those who do not want the divorce, but it's forced upon them. And at some point, even those who are wanting to settle cases, rather than allowing the court to make any decisions for them, if people are not balanced and not ready, eventually the other side is going to push to the point that litigation happens because it's an only option, or it is the only option available. So in this person's psyche who does not want the divorce, who is not balanced, who's not making good decisions because they can't even feel the decision, they can't see their future, they see nothing, they just see complete helplessness. Yes, that's a full extreme. But if you think of divorce, think of the trauma, think of someone being in that particular space, it's a very real risk to walk out of a divorce process wondering what the heck just happened. I don't remember any of it. I wasn't present. I didn't think it through. I didn't really feel anything. I felt like I was in survival mode. I didn't feel worthy. I was, many people are dealing with shame or feeling like they're sinning because their background, their culture, their religion tells them that a divorce is very bad. It's a bad thing. It's shameful. It's sinful. So a large part of their unworthiness or their decisions are based on that programming, that belief system. So in a situation where we can get them balanced and they can start seeing that they are worthy, that there's, no matter how they see it, sins are forgiven. There is no shame. Whatever it is that once you can bounce them back into feeling a sense of worthiness, feeling a sense of self-confidence, and they're able to take in and digest information into that solar plexus with ease, and they start aligning, then you see the difference. Then it's like, oh, wait, yeah, I do need support, or I do need my basic necessities met, or I do need these particular things, or I'd like to have this, and I'm able to explain why, what is my interest behind it. So it behooves everyone in a divorce process to be sure that you are aligned and that each decision that you make is coming from a place of clarity, so that you're not later looking back with that buyer's remorse and saying, where was I? What happened to me? And you don't have an attorney or a coach or a mediator, depending on what process you choose and your team that you put together. You don't have somebody that has the knowing to watch you energetically, not just what you're doing physically, and to be able to see through understand and see through some of the physical transactions that happen in a divorce. Look beyond that to the energetic and the emotional bodies to see where you are and where you might need help. So do what you can. If you're in a divorce situation or a separation that may lead to divorce, you don't know if it's going to lead to divorce, wherever you find yourself, or if you're helping somebody else, just make sure that you do what practice is good for you, to be sure that you're aligned and that you are able to tap into your intuition, that you're able to say with certainty, these decisions that I'm making, whether it's a parenting plan or a asset distribution or it's something related to support, whatever it may be, that you can confidently say, I feel this is a good decision for me. If you sense you're procrastinating, check yourself. If you sense this, doom, I just feel a sense of doom, check yourself. If you feel a lack of confidence, check yourself. Your willpower is gone, check yourself. If you can't seem to make a decision, check yourself. If you become hyper focused on something, I can't get away from this particular thought or this thing, this asset, I can only see this one way and I can't expand that lens, check yourself. So the best practice is to find something that works specifically for you. Whether it's a meditation every day to say, how do I feel? Sinking into that thought of your solar plexus, how bright is that yellow? Can I use color? Can I see? Can I feel? What do I need to do so that I can feel balanced and aligned? And when you find that practice that's good for you, you do that every day, and you don't go into a meeting, or you don't talk to your attorney, you don't talk to your spouse, you don't do anything unless you can clearly say, yes, I'm aligned, I feel good, I feel worthy, my self-esteem is there, I feel connected, I know if I'm turning right that I'm making that decision without doubt. Whatever it is whatever your checklist is for your alignment, do it for you. Do it for your family, because your family is going to thank you later when you're 2-3 years down the road and beyond from the divorce order being entered, and you've actually went through a process consciously, aligned, where the decisions that you made were made with clarity. So there's no looking back and saying, I made a mistake. There's no buyer's remorse. And if you have children and you're co-parenting those children, using that example of the house that becomes two homes, you can make it a loving experience. You can make it it's never going to be satisfying, but it's going to be something that is better than the alternative of looking years down the road, always looking back and saying, I wish I would have done that differently. So I look forward to seeing you in part 4, where we deal with the heart chakra. Know that you've got this. Keep yourself and your practice top priority during the process. Don't forget it. Don't forget that your energetic well-being is really your secret weapon in a divorce process. So until we meet again, my friend, namaste.